What's up guys, DJ here at Top Deck Cards and Games. Today I'm going to do a Mermail deck profile for you guys. This deck is super sick. It's one of my favorite decks in the format right now for a number of reasons. The big one being that you can actually play through a dimensional barrier very well. And I think that's one of the aspects of deck that will kind of be defining as the format continues. You need to be able to play your game through a dimensional barrier if your opponent's, especially if your opponent sets up like ABC Dragon and barriers you on your turn. What you can do in that situation is what will define what the best decks in this format are, I think. And I think Mermails have a pretty good edge in that situation since they're able to just play, Megalo Beatdown, or if your opponent cuts off your access to Exceeds, you can still use your Synchros. And there's a number of options for the deck. Going first, the deck is great if you can Goldfish off to get things. You can Moon Glacier your opponent, set up multiple Tree Toads, various things like that. So it's a pretty powerful deck in every situation right now, and that's why I like it. Just start off on our monsters. We have 3 copies of Abystius. This is just disgusting, this awful mismatch. I hate it, but oh well. TS is just great. It's going to let you put an extra body on the board. It's going to let you tutor up whatever Mermail you need. There's a lot of different combos with our Mermails, and TS is perfect because it tutors up any of them by searching a level 4 or lower Mermail. We also have 2 copies of Abyss Gund. Gund is one of the monsters TS is going to search up the most often. And when Gun's pitch, it's a monster reborn, so you're able to even pitch Gund with TS to reborn any of your various Mermails for different combo plays. We have 2 level 4 Mermails. I have 1 Abyss Pike and 1 Abyss Turge. I'm playing 1 of each. I was playing 2 Pike at first, but there were enough situations where Turge was better than Pike that I decided to branch out, try 1 of each since we have the ability to tutor them up. The situation where Pike is better is really just when you have Aqua Spirit in your hand and want to make a Bahamut Shark turn 1. But there's a lot of situations where you can pitch with other effects to get yourself going. So I went with 1 of each. Turge being able to recycle different lower levels too is actually very relevant, being able to get back like a Neptibus or something. We have 2 high-level Mermails. We have a Megalo and a Lead. Megalo and Lead are both searchable with Dragoons. That's why I feel that 1 copy of each is enough, though if we were going for a more aggressive Mermail-based build, we might go double Megalo, since that's going to be our win condition the vast majority of the time. Megalo also searches up Mizuchi, so we can knock our opponent down an extra card effectively. In some hands, our opponent has no spells, they keep it, but that's also a good attack booster, and Lead lets us take a card out of their hand, so situationally, both these cards are great. And then we have a couple awkward Mermails that are used for combo plays. I'm just going to put them all out. We have 1 Abyss Osha, 1 Abyss Hild, and 1 Abyss Mander. These guys are all used for different plays. Well, I shouldn't say all used. Abyss Osha uses both of these guys for different plays in ways that are very powerful. Osha, in combination with Mander, can set up a double Bahamut Shark turn if you have an Aqua Spirit or an Instant Fusion. And with Hild, if you have one of your level 4 monsters in your hand, you can set up Anganir, Bahamut Shark, and whatever shark goes into. So, just some very good openings made possible by these cards. I mean, they're not exceptional cards. We don't really dream about drawing them, so we do just play 1 copy of each, since again, they are tutorable. And with that, we can also discard them for effects like TS and Pike. Next, we have our Atlantean Engine. There's 3 copies of Neptibus. You want to draw Neptibus all the time, unless you draw a Deep Sea Diva, I guess, but Neptibus is just perfect. You always want to summon this card every game. Additionally, the Reborn effect is also extremely good, as it lets you get back Atlantean Dragoons, which we have 2 copies of. This is a Dragoons deck. I made a Mermail video a couple formats ago, and I said the same thing then. This is really just an Atlantean Dragoons deck. Like that's the best card in the deck. It's the card that makes the deck tick. It still is. It provides you with so much advantage and such access to your plays. We have 2 copies of Heavy Infantry. It's a face-up format right now. It has been for a long time, really, but we have 2 Infantry and 1 Marksman because what we're going to need to deal with more often than not is face-up cards. Marksman is still important to have in your deck. It's good utility. The level 3 is relevant, and the damage can be relevant off of Diva sometimes. Next, we have 3 copies of Swap Frog and 1 Ronin Totem. It's a small frog engine. That's all you really need, though. All your water monsters can be pitched for some sort of effect to Swap Frog, so you can use that to set up Ronin plays. Additionally, if you just need a normal summon Swap Frog, that's fine too. There's a decent bit of value you can get back too by just returning something like a Neptibus to your hand for next turn. Then we have 3 Aqua Spirits. Aqua Spirit helps you set up turn 1 Bahamut Sharks to go into Tree Toad. And then lastly are 2 searchable broken water monsters, Deep Sea Diva and Moulin Glacia. There's a million different ways that you can Moulin your opponent turn 1. I found basically if I can resolve Dragoons turn 1, like 90% of the time, that's not like a real mathed out number or anything, just throwing it out there. You can Moulin your opponent turn 1. If you're getting something like Moulin plus summon Tree Toad turn 1, like it's very hard for you to lose the game. For our spells, we have 3 copies of Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion with Dragoons is just too good. You know, you play this, get Bahamut Shark, detach your Dragoons, get a Tree Toad. So you have Shark, Toad, whatever you searched off of Dragoons, and that's just insane. 3 copies of Desire because I can play 3 copies of Desire. I feel like I have this in a lot of deck list videos, by the way. I'm sorry that these are just like the most absurd cards in the game right now, and I'm allowed to play 3 copies of each of them. I have 2 copies of Moray of Greed. So these were Gamma Seals for a really long time in testing, and it got to a point where it felt like Gamma Seal was, and not got to a point, I guess, this is just in theory how Gamma Seal feels. When you're going first, Gamma Seal is bad. It's just a water monster that you're going to pitch for effects, but other than that, it's a brick. When you go second, Gamma Seal is bad in... Basically, if your opponent is playing anything other than ABC and didn't ABC turn 1, I don't care that I drew Gamma Seal either. So then it's down to like a very small portion of games where me drawing Gamma Seal is relevant. And then additionally to that, I'm still... Like, it still needs to be enough. So with that being said, I moved my Gamma Seals to my sideboard and put 2 Moray of Greeds, and I forget what the other one was. There were 3 in here for a while. But Moray has been fine. It's another card that helps you Goldfish out turn 1 and dig for answers when going second. It's useful, especially to shuffle away different like Abyss Hild, Osha, those type of cards when you don't have anything to do with them, or redundant copies of Abyss Spirit, or Aqua Spirit, excuse me, to set up for your actual plays. So it's just a very useful card. Not positive it's the right choice for the deck, but it has been working fairly well, and in theory it seems fine over Gamma Seal, but we could probably do better with that slot. Then we have 1 copy of 1 for 1, just a great card to search out Neptibus. 1 Mizuchi, and 1 Upstart Goblin. 0 trap cards. If I did play traps in here, it would just be Dimension Barrier. That card's just insane. Like I already said, I think that's kind of going to be the defining card of the format, but I am not playing any traps. We can go first, and our trap is basically just Tree Toad. Speaking on that, we'll go through the extra deck too. I have 2 copies of Bahamut Shark. This is just such a good card now with the release of Tree Toad. We also have Abyss Dweller and Castell for rank 4s. Dweller can also trigger our Dragoons. There's plenty of situations where Dweller is great, and certain matchups where he's just an insane card. And 1 Castell just for utility. On rank 2s, we have 2 copies of Totally Awesome. Tree Toad, Totally Awesome, whatever. My bad for calling it whatever. I don't know what the right name is. It might not even have been Tree Toad in Japan. I'm just going to look really stupid. And then we have Cat Shark, because this card can create a lot of really, really neat OTKs. For those of you who don't know what Cat Shark does, well, it has an XYZ material attached that was originally water. It cannot be destroyed by battle. That's not the exciting part. Once returned during either player's turn, you can detach an XYZ material from the card, target a rank 4 or lower XYZ you control, and double its attack and defense. So that just creates game in a lot of awkward situations. I'm not sure you actually need it there, but it's pretty awesome. And then I have 1 copy of Abyss Trite as well. Trite is just an extra Bahamut Shark target. And this might be preemptive, like, to what's actually happening in the format, but I've noticed a lot of Ghost Reapers in people's deck lists, and I don't really want to... If you summon Shark and get your Toads Ghost Reapered, that's just awful. With Abyss Trite, it's actually not too bad. Trite's actually a fine card. I mean, this used to be like a normal Mermail play, right? Like, you Shark for Trite. That's a really strong setup. Not so strong anymore, but that's okay. So that's where that is, or what that's there for, I guess. We also have 1 copy of Mech-Whipped Angineer. I talked about this earlier. It's just the best rank 3 that you can detach from on demand to get the effect of Abyss held off, and it helps protect your board. And then we have Abyss Gaios. The other rank 7s didn't really make the cut. Big Eye would be fine in a lot of situations, and if I was going to change the extra deck around, Big Eye would be one of the cards I would consider adding. as well as like Honor Arc, Dire Wolf. I think that's it for XYZ monsters. There's probably something really obvious I'm forgetting. You guys can let me know down below if there's any really key extra deck cards you don't think I'm remembering. For the Synchros, we have Trish, Meteor Burst Dragon, Coral Dragon, and Tatsunoko. These are just all important, like Tatsunoko, Coral Dragon, and Trish are all basically necessities. Coral Dragon was actually a great addition to the deck, by the way. It really helps you go above and beyond being a water monster, triggering your water effects, and being an extra tuner that you can kind of bridge into the Trish if you need to. Meteor Burst is important because when you get maxied, the game plan is still just to kill your opponent. They max you go whoop-de-doo Basil and just put 10 grand on the board. When you're going first, there's a lot of times when you can make the level 7 Synchro. And when I say a lot of times, I mean you had to draw Deep Sea Diva, so like I don't really want to build my extra based on having Diva. But in those situations, Moonlight and Clearwing, that's the level 7 one, right guys? Sure. Are pretty good. I'm really drawing a blank whether that's Clearwing or Crystal Wing. You guys know what I'm talking about, and I feel really dumb right now. Are both fine though, and there just wasn't really space for them. Again, if I was going to change the extra deck, I would probably put one of those in for when I'm going first. Definitely Clearwing, I think. And then we have Nodin. If we could play more copies of Nodin, I would probably play a second one, but I'm allowed to use one copy, so I'm using one copy. Oh, Daigusto Emerald is another card that wouldn't be bad in here, actually. There's a lot of one-ofs that we don't mind recycling, Nodin included. But just a lot of different one-of cards that would be fine to shuffle back into our deck to get more use out of. But yeah, Nodin is just great. It's key to the deck. If we could play 2, we would. I don't know if it's worth playing any other instant fusion targets in the deck. I don't think it is. There's just nothing else you really want to instant for, so we just have Nodin. Instant fusion is just so good, though, that it's worth playing 3 anyway. But yeah, so that's the deck list. This deck is a ton of fun to play. It's actually extremely powerful. You can goldfish off really well in most situations. Like, most hands will open with like multiple copies of Tree Toads, or you'll Moulin your opponent, or you'll make a Toad plus a Moulin even, and that's just all great. There's just so many different lines that get you to really strong setups. There's so many different lines where you do 8,000 damage when you're going second. And I think this deck actually just deserves a lot more kind of discussion than it's getting. I think that in general, Mermail is kind of like an underrepresented theme anymore, though. I think it's actually been pretty powerful several times in the last year. And I think as this format progresses, you'll see that a little more. I think this deck's going to pop up. Toad is just such a powerful card. Like, you're going to see Paleozoic Frogs. I'll talk about them some other time as well. But decks that can make Toad are just they're going to be played. Like, it's so hard to go second into this card that you're going to see people build decks to summon it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a lot more interesting than summon ABC set trap cards. So that's where we're at. This deck's a ton of fun, though. Let me know what you guys think. I know there's a lot of room to innovate and mess with it. So I'll be very happy to talk in the comments about it. I'm going to be tweaking this, testing it, and editing it as we go. There's a pretty good chance by the time this video is posted, there will have been changes made. If there are, I'll just post them down in the comments, whatever I've changed in the deck, so we can talk about the most up-to-date version, even though it'll be kind of a pain since it won't be in the video. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think. I'm going to try to do a deck video and a discussion video weekly from now on. Try to get 2 videos a week. We'll see if I can keep to it, but that's the plan. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, anything you guys would find interesting, let me know. I can make a video. Basically, I'll put my thoughts out there, and then you guys can throw whatever you think back at me. Let me know that I sound like an idiot or whatever you want. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll have more stuff coming soon.